Welcome back. I'm Jill with the carefreekitchen.com, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite recipe for Saltine Cracker Toffee. And this recipe is one of a kind. This Saltine Cracker Toffee, also known as Christmas Crack, is not only super quick and easy to make, it's also incredibly addicting. In a buttery, crunchy, sweet and salty class of its own, this holiday treat is bound to be your new favorite. All right, so to get started on this recipe, here are the ingredients that you are going to need. Okay, so for the ingredients, here is some butter, and we're going to use 1 1/4 cup butter. And then we have just regular plain saltine crackers, and we're gonna need about 1 1/2 sleeves of those. And then I'm gonna butter my pan with just some butter nonstick spray. And then we have some brown sugar here. And these are the chocolate chips that I like to use. And this is just milk chocolate chips. They are beautiful and they taste so delicious. And then I also have some little sprinkles, and I'm making this a Christmas version, but you can of course use any kind of sprinkles that you want. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just spray my baking sheet with nonstick cooking spray. And we want it pretty thick there. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my saltine crackers, and this will be the base for our toffee. So I'm just going to line these up real quick here and cover the bottom of this baking sheet. Okay, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Okay, and then into a pan on medium heat, I'm going to add my butter and also my brown sugar. And then we will just use a whisk, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. Okay, and then as soon as it starts boiling, we're going to boil it for about 2 minutes. And just be sure to continue to whisk it as it's boiling so that it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pan. Okay, we've got 4, 3, 2, 1 second left. And we are just going to take this off of the heat. Okay, now this part is actually a fun part of the process. You're just going to take your toffee here and pour it over the crackers. And the idea here is that you want to cover them all evenly. And this makes just some really fun and chewy toffee pieces. And then of course it has like that caramel flavor with the chocolate on top. This is such a fun recipe, and we always make this during the holidays. And then as soon as you have it all covered, you can just take a little spatula and be sure all of the cracker pieces are covered as evenly as possible. There we go. Okay, and now what you're going to do is put it into a preheated oven, 350 degree oven, and cook it for about 5 minutes. So, there we go. Okay, we still have a couple minutes to go, but as you can see, this will all just bubble up and start to absorb into those crackers. So we want that all nice and bubbly before we put the chocolate chips on. Okay, so here is what my toffee looks like when it's just out of the oven. And if some of these little crackers get overlapped, because I accidentally tilted a little bit, you can just straighten them out with a little knife. There we go. And now for the fun part, I'm just going to add chocolate chips on top. And the heat from the toffee is going to melt the chocolate chips. So we'll just put this on here for a minute and then spread it around. And you want to try and get them as even as possible. Okay, this has had a chance to sit for just a couple minutes. Now I will just use an offset spatula and smooth out those chocolate chips. And if your chocolate doesn't melt quite how you want it to, you can also just put it back into the oven for a couple minutes and it will just melt right up in the oven too. There we go. You want to try and cover all of the toffee as evenly as possible. All right, that looks great. Now, to make this a little more festive for the holidays, I'm going to put on some sprinkles, and I'm using these ones. They're really soft, so it won't take away or give too much crunch to the toffee, and it makes the cutest little Christmas treat. This would be perfect for gifting to your neighbors or to your friends, school teachers, or just to have in the fridge on hand when company stops by. Okay, there is our toffee, and now we're just going to let it cool at room temperature, and then if it still needs a few minutes for the chocolate to harden up, then we will put it into the fridge for about 20 minutes. All right, here is my cracker toffee, and it has had a chance to cool, so if I just set a knife under there, it will just break off into a big piece. So what you can do is just like take the back of your knife, and you're just going to cut it or break it into chunks that you can put on a little platter for a Christmas party. It's a great time to use this. You can wrap it up in a cute little baggie with a label and give it to some friends. This is a fun part of making this toffee recipe. It's just pulling it into these pieces. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and break this up, and then we'll be ready to try it. And you see the back side of that, how yummy and delicious that is. It's like all covered in that caramel toffee. Just perfect. Okay, so now I think it is time to try our toffee. It's like so perfect because it has that little bit of salt on the saltine crackers, and then it's got the caramel flavor and then the layer of chocolate on top. Such a fun Christmas treat. It's so crunchy and salty and sweet. Hands down, the best Christmas treat on the planet. You have got to make this. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Carefree Kitchen, and I hope you try this recipe. It's super quick and easy to make, and it's the perfect recipe to take to friends, to take to gatherings, or you can just make it ahead of time and pop it in your fridge so that you're prepared if somebody drops by. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me here, and I'll show you all kinds of fun and easy recipes that your family will love. And happy holidays from my family to yours. See you next time.